Here we are. It's Saturday, March 23rd, is it? Good Lord, how time flies. It's noon Eastern time. I'm Bob Harris, and it's time for my weekly Ask Me Anything live stream. But before we get to the questions, and I know there will be some, footballguys.com is the website. I appreciate you joining me here every Saturday at this time in this spot. Also on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for the On the Hot Seat live streams. Great one with Jamie Calandro last week from Football Diehards, my colleague there. Now, find his work, FantasyPros, fantasy team advice. But go watch the replay of that. Great conversation about a lot of the free agent moves and probably a lot of the questions you're going to have here today. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want. You previously completed those YouTubish tasks like me or not. Probably okay. Comment. Let me know what's going on. I'd love to see all of you here every week at this time. Except last week I wasn't here. I'm not gonna lie. I was away. Hello, John Vaudeville. Toronto Dave. T-Bone. How you doing, T-Bone? Are you a good boy? Yes, you are. Great seeing everyone here. So there's been a lot going on. We'll have questions. Hey, Robert, good to see you in the chat, man. It's been a little while. Been a lot going on, right? Like, the free agency, a lot of draft type going on. I'm going to tell you all that's the John Bonneville lane. I am not as well versed in the draft type. I'm not a fan of the draft type, but like we're all paying attention. So if you have like a rookie question, throw it out there. Great information at Football Guys on the rookies. The 2024 rookie draft guide is available. Hi, Dame. How are you? Royal Slade. Pleasure to see you, sir. Mr. Scampas. Pleasure. So rookie draft guide's available 2.0 if you're a subscriber, a leader, a Hall of Fame subscriber. You get that as part of the package. If you just want the version 1.0, which has a ton of information, go ahead and get that. That is totally free. My article's there every week. My fantasy notebooks comes out like Sunday evening and available Monday. I'm starting to do a video every week, so go check that out on the Football Guys YouTube channel. I'll be doing a video. I think it'll be posted every Friday. For now, we'll probably up the speed. It's a recorded video, just me covering news and chit chatting about it. But give that a view and like it and do all the YouTube stuff. Ooh, the YouTube's, man. YouTube is getting crazy. All the technology getting crazy. If you think you're not plugged into the matrix, you are. I was watching a video with my fiance. Hey, Steve. Good to see you. Hi, Andrea. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you. Appreciate your comments there, Robert. Like not ideal circumstances, but ideal landing spot, and I appreciate you following along. Definitely do. But so I'm watching I went in the other room and watched a YouTube video with my fiance about a topic I never watch YouTube videos on. I watch nothing but football content and drum porn. I know, and heavy metal music, right? So, yes, drum porn is my guilty pleasure. I'm not gonna lie. I can watch hours of drumming. Anyway, so I come back out. This was like in another room. Didn't have my phone with me. My watch was on though. I go into the other room. Hey, Wendy, good to see you. Thanks for coming. Go in the other room, watch a video. Don't have my phone on me. Have the watch on. Come back out here watching my drum porn and whatnot later. Football stuff, like a mix. Not all drum porn. I'm not mostly, not all of it. But anyhow, so all of a sudden in my YouTube feed comes a bunch of the stuff that I watched one video of my girl. Then we were talking about something at a restaurant the other day, like totally out of the blue. I was talking to my accountant has a raptor. Cool. All of a sudden there's videos about raptors in my feed. We are in the matrix, people. Don't think you're not. Anyway, a lot of football news going on here. I see some of the comments, and yes, the Titans got a nice deal for Snead. And they do seem to be pushing this. And, I saw there's some chatter there where, there's some hype for JJ McCarthy. I think the Titans are hoping more quarterbacks go early. So maybe they get, they need another receiver. Probably so. I don't know. Treylon Burks doesn't seem to be working out. But hey, you never know. Maybe he can emerge. You got 3 really strong receiving assets there, or at least, relatively strong. I mean, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Treylon Burks. Maybe this is Jig Okonkwo season is really upon us. We'll find that out. Something like what the Jets are doing. The Mike Williams move, I talked a little bit about that in the video. We have news. By the way, last time, oh, you have my attention, sir. I hope you're listening, YouTube, to what we're talking about, Scampers and I, and maybe forward me some of the classic guitar modern cover porn. That would be okay. Titans going Joe Alt at 7 in John's opinion. I would agree with that. So I keep whispering my phone that the Bears want to trade the number one pick. Like, might work. Might work. Speak it into existence. Jets have had a decent offseason so far. Tyron Smith, if that move works out and he stays healthy, if all the pieces stay healthy, including Mike Williams, like talked about this on the Football Guys video I posted yesterday. Again, go check that out in the Football Guys YouTube channel. I mean, if everyone stays healthy and Mike Williams can like somehow his knee holds up on the fantastic MetLife Stadium surface, this is going to be, they have some pieces. And for me, Garrett Wilson is kind of, baked in at the ceiling. If you're drafting out there right now, you're finding him at, wide receiver 8, 9, sometimes going in the first round or early second at the latest. And I think that ceiling, he can't really climb much higher. He might outperform that 8, but I mean, are you drafting him higher? It's kind of tough. But Mike Williams right now, double digit round play. I think there's an argument to be made there. Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback 2, well in the double digit rounds. Argument to be made there for sure. Brees Hall, running back 2. There is no argument there, people. That's where he's at. That's where he should be. I don't know if that's where he's at. And most of the drafts I've been in, he's been running back 2. By the way, Football Diehards will be on later today, the radio version of this thing, and we'll be starting 2 best ball drafts there. So starting 2 more. We're just finishing up some of the last live ones, or at least I am. I know Dempsey's got 10,000. Dempsey being Mike Dempsey, my co-host on the Sirius XM show. Nice video with him 2 weeks ago on the hot seat. And go watch those. Replay those videos. Go watch my video on Football Guys. Talked a little bit about the news, including the Jets. Talked about the Bears. We could entertain that talk. It's funny. I watched the Caleb Williams workout, and like he can throw, but I mean, was that so? I guess you're gonna if you read my weekly notebook of Football Guys, you're gonna see I'm gonna rag a little bit on the pre-draft hype season. I think it's a little bit overblown for me. I want them. I want to know more about them when they have a helmet on. I mean, I want to know about the players, and I want to know their skill sets, and I want to understand what they're capable of and what teams they fit in. I want to start looking at some mock drafts. I think that helps me get an understanding of what the team needs are beyond my surface knowledge, and maybe understand some of the permutations. I know John Bonneville's hoping his Vikings are going to get a quarterback. I mean, they got to move up, right? They've got that firepower. They made that trade for to get a second first round pick. They got to be moving up. So who's it for? Like here I am, like saying I don't like all this. Yeah, I like. It's funny because when the NFL scouting combine comes up, to me, that's the time where you're most likely to hear a team general manager, head coach, whoever's speaking at the podium, tell the truth about something. Not exclusively the truth, but it's the most likely time. The pre-draft season is when you are most likely to get smoke blown right up your skirt. You're going to get all kinds of nonsense spewed. You're going to hear there's all kinds of. Oh. So John is not my friend on Facebook, or he would have known. I play a song every day on Facebook. I post a song every day because I love songs. I'm a music fan. You guys will be surprised to learn. And that was my song last week. One of my songs last week. I post one every day. That was one. I love Polyphia. Henson is a whiz bang. That drummer is not chopped liver either. So, but I think this whole pre-draft season, I mean, like 99% of everything we hear is going to be a lie. Or okay, maybe not a lie. I'm maybe overstating my case. Not a lie, but not the truth. I mean, it's just like it's a lot of it's just nonsense, and their teams are putting things out there to try to get other teams to, you know, see interest where there's not interest. I mean, it's a lot of subterfuge, right? That's the whole idea behind 99% of what we hear about the draft, right? And so I try not to get too caught up in the hype about it. Like I want to discuss players and their skill sets and where they fit and those kind of things. But the back and forth, the who had a great workout, exactly this, John. The workouts, who's working out and who's not. Look, we're entering a new era, people, where the players have a little more power because why? They made a bunch of money playing college football. They don't necessarily need to kowtow. I mean, you see, I think Caleb Williams, well within his rights to say, like, I'm not giving my medical information to all 32 teams. Not all 32 of you are going to draft me. I don't want you all to know my business. That's fair. Marvin Harrison Jr. not working out. Like, there's copious game tape available on Marvin Harrison Jr. If you're really interested in what he's capable of. You probably already know this, and now it just seems like you will want to see him jump through your hoops. Does he need to jump through your hoops? Does he need to jump through our hoops? Does he have anything to prove to you, me, teams? I mean, maybe the teams, but like if he doesn't do it, is somebody not going to draft him? So I just think we probably should get used to this level of things going on. Right? This is the direction it's taking to me, right? And so, look, I get it. Teams like to control everything, and there's and I understand why too, right? Like every week you have a different opponent. Every season is new. Every week you have a different opponent. There are different challenges. There's unique things, travel, etc., etc. Everything you can keep the same. Everything you can control, you want to control. You don't get to control it. And can't even keep your TV shows on. There's no total access this week. What the hell? So John loves Brock Bowers. I think the Jets just draft an offensive tackle. I think they do need an offensive tackle. Tyron Smith seems like, that's a move, but I think that's a good move still. I mean, I like the move. I just think it's nice. Robert wishes his Lions would have gotten Ladarius Need, probably more than their budget allowed, probably a little more than a lot of budgets allowed. Convinced pro days exist so couch players can get free steaks. I don't think you're wrong. I mean, that is one reason. Interested in a scenario where the Vikings don't have to give up a 2025 first, maybe can give up a 2025 third with 11 and 23. Yeah, I think that's probably, would be their desired outcome. Interesting thing I thought this week too, and I'll get into this a little bit because I do want to talk about it, and it's going to be in my notebook when it comes out. But it seems like we saw a little bit of a shift, right? Like last year, nobody was going to pay a running back. Nobody was paying running back. Tracy Adolfo-Mensa this week talked a little bit about it and said, maybe the momentum has shifted or maybe we went too far. And I think that, they paid 7 million for Aaron Jones, but I mean that was like that was the lower end of the scale for at least for guys who have a pretty clear-cut starting role. And I don't know that his is a full featured role, right? Like Ty Chandler's still there, is still gonna have a role. But $7 million 1 year. But think about these deals. Jacobs gets a 4 year, 48 million. Saquon Barkley year, 37 million. Derrick Henry, 8 million a year for 2 years. Swift and Pollard both get 8 million a year, which I think those are kind of to me the outliers. Joe Mixon gets 3 years, what, $27 million extension. Although, all those guys except for Swift and Pollard have passed to clear true featured roles, and they're getting paid like it. And there are other guys who are getting paid much less. One of them I'm kind of increasingly interested in is Gus Edwards. Right? What do you get? Like $7 million for 2 years, 3.5 million a year. But he's going back with Greg Roman. We've seen what he can do with Greg Roman. He can average 5 yards a carry. This is going to be the run heaviest offense ever known to man, which like that's another thing we do. We overblow, right? We overblow like, oh, it's going to be a run heavy offense. Oh, Jim Harbaugh has, like in San Francisco, was run heavy. Who are his quarterbacks? They were Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. When he was at San Diego State and Josh Johnson was his quarterback, he threw like crazy. When he was at Stanford, a kid named Andrew Luck was his quarterback, threw like crazy. So Justin Herbert's a good player. We'll see Justin Fields on the mind, everybody's mind. Shouldn't be. Would you invest millions of dollars? So, like, but that I think that's the point, though, is if you're the guy that you're investing the millions of dollars in, why don't you focus on the teams that can invest the millions of dollars in you? In Marvin's case, they can give them the information they want. I don't, they can make that decision. I would want to investigate for my satisfaction. And if I can't, then maybe I don't draft them. You get a choice too, right? So that's my point. Is Marvin Harrison has a choice and he's making. Teams have a choice too. They can make their choice. Teams start punishing players, who have already made millions playing college football by saying, "Oh, you're going to make a few million less because you didn't share with us or you didn't cooperate with do things the way we wanted them done." I don't know. I think I mean, it's a fair point for sure, but also a fair point for the players. I think my point is the players have a little more control. Kate didn't want people to know he had his wisdom teeth removed. Uh, I asked teams to combine if they wanted him to work out at pro day, and it was a unanimous no. He's good. I think that and I think that's the point that Caleb Williams and I think Harrison are making. Like, there's a limited number of teams that are likely to draft us. We're not going to jump through the hoops for everybody. I did, I watched Caleb Williams throwing, and like I've watched, I've seen some of his games, some of his games, not entire games, but I've seen a lot of it, and so I mean, like, do we think he can't throw? I mean, we know. You know, I mean, I get it. We want to, put a microscope up their backside and do all the things. And I just think the NFL probably needs to get, you know, to embrace the change that's coming and deal with it and find, but maybe better and more creative ways to make everybody happy. Uh, and again, in the end, Steve, they have a choice. They don't have to invest in anybody. There's been a lot of that going on. So I thought it was interesting though that all the Bears that were on in attendance for Caleb Williams workout, not a surprise, including his new teammate Keenan Allen. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on there in the Chicago and Los Angeles, shall we? Yeah, let's do it. I mean, because I think like clearly the Bears are going for Caleb Williams. I mean, like I want to. What kind of certainty are we putting on that? Like 101%? No. I mean, like it seems all but certain, right? And maybe they surprise us if they do. Caleb Williams is not going to last long, but let's assume he's going to the Bears. The Bears doing a lot of work to make his takeoff better than they did for Justin Fields. I know JJ Zachariason had a tweet about this, and I thought it was really on point. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. See if we can avoid the breaking news day. Last week we had the breaking news, or 2 weeks ago when I was last here, we had the Jerry Judy news. Some of you might have thought I was upset the news broke or I didn't break the news. No, I was upset because I have to write an article. I have like 2 hours before a show starts. Next time that happens, we're all going to start writing that article in real time, live on the YouTube. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to start talking through the process of how I write an article and how I react and what I think about those things, and y'all are going to have input. That's how we're doing it next time. So yeah, start rooting for breaking news so we could all write an article together. Wouldn't that be joyous? Uh, I would agree. Like, and that's what they're setting him up for. But so what did we have? We had Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson too. There were the top wide receivers when Justin Fields arrived. Caleb Williams or whoever it is arrives to Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. Maybe they still draft a wide receiver. This is like yeah, Mark Schlereth knows where to find Jerry Judy on Twitter. Apparently, seems likely. But this is the point. If nothing else, JJ Zachariason's point was, if nothing else, the Bears learned. Right? I would love to think so. Surround a young talent that you're investing heavily in, and I also get to moving on from Justin Fields. Like and I know watching the X machine, there are a lot of opinions on him, very strong opinions in both directions. I don't think it's impossible to believe he can resurrect himself in Pittsburgh if and my colleague Cecil Lammy, who's very familiar with the scene in Denver, he's on the radio there, but also with football guys, has a lot of behind the scenes information. Just like Russell's time might be over. Like I know Russell Wilson goes into Pittsburgh as the starter. I think that's a safe bet. Does he stay the starter? What does it a little bit like? Feel a little bit like uh, uh, Russell Wilson's arrival in Seattle, and they had just paid a ton of money to Matt Flynn, and then all of a sudden, it's competition because Russell Wilson showed up, was playing well. We'll see. We'll see what happens. A lot can go on in Pittsburgh, but putting a supporting cast around these people, bringing in this super young high end talent, but restarting the clock on Fields, with by resetting their clock, meaning with Justin Fields, they were facing a 5th-year option and then a big contract extension. And I know from my conversation with Hub Arkush a couple weeks ago on the radio program. By the way, we're going to talk Vikings with Arif Hassan today, and I think Andy Vasquez. We're going to talk Jets as well. So, Steve, there's some. If you could tune in on the radio, there's some Jets talk. but Hub's assessment was Fields does everything great. Locker room presence, leader, respected and liked by his teammates, the obvious athleticism and running ability, but he never progressed as a passer. Well, why? Matt Waldman and I talked about this on one of our podcasts, the Feel It or F It podcast we do every Monday. And Matt is his strong opinion that the Bears did absolutely nothing for Justin Fields. It's a fair argument. I mean, DJ Moore was not nothing, but it was a little late in the game. So something to that. Yes, that's what we're doing. That's absolutely what we're doing. I get in this thing where, like, I when work happens, I should be doing work, right? This is a me problem. I get freaked the F out, like, "Oh, no." So I feel like the guy in Rain Man when Judge Wapner is coming on, man. I gotta write an article. So I'm sitting here stressing out about that when I should be talking to you. Well, next time, we're just gonna talk about my damn article. That's how it's gonna be. I'm after me. That's not Jay Cutler, Mitch Trubisky just feels that he is not he is knocking. Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, but I do think the Bears seem to be making the moves. DeAndre Swift, I still don't get that move. I don't get the money they paid him unless they're fixing to trade Khalil Herbert to the Dallas Cowboys or something where there's still a need. Rico Dowdle, their top running back. No running backs who have started an NFL game. I thought AJ Dillon was a possibility. Now, by the wayside, maybe Deontay Foreman. Now he goes to Cleveland. So there, there's still some things going on there. But Chicago doing all the right things, setting up Caleb Williams for success, the things they didn't do for their last quarterback, Justin Fields. We'll move on to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh do the things to set him up for success. I don't know. Mike Tomlin apparently loves him. We'll see if Brandon Ayuk, Mike Tomlin's doppelganger, shows up at some point. Wouldn't that be interesting? I don't think that's going to happen, by the way. I just think it's interesting that Brandon Ayuk's throwing that out there. I had a question from John McGlynn on Twitter about the Deontay Johnson. So the big thing in Pittsburgh, we know Mike Tomlin, who wants his volunteers, not hostages. See you, Kenny Pickett. See you, Deontay Johnson. I believe that might have been a similar thing. Uh, so I've been. Let me finish this thought. But what is Deontay Johnson? I think he might be a little better. How did John frame it? I thought it was a super interesting question the way he framed it mostly. Is Deontay Johnson just going to be Juju part two with the new team, or will he thrive in Carolina? And I'd say to John, the answer somewhere in between, but he could thrive. I mean, I think he's more likely to thrive if Bryce Young progresses than be Juju part two. Number one, he's healthier. I think Juju, a lot of struggles have been due to his health issues. I think he's just something where he can't keep up. No, all due respect to him. It's like the knees troublesome and an ongoing issue. So I think that's fair. Is Zeke back in Dallas? I keep thinking that's a possibility. Have not heard that it is, have not heard anything credible saying that it will happen. And Deontay Johnson, I agree. Update to Thielen and look how like Thielen was a wide receiver one for portions of last year, one of the worst offenses in the NFL, scoring barely in the double digit. Bryce Young threw what 11 touchdowns. I mean, so, but he's not a separating mark for sure, but he is a cagey veteran who can get the job done. Adding Deontay Johnson there, I think, was a good move for them. Dave Canales, I think, his history is, he's been involved in turning some quarterbacks' careers around. Geno Smith in Seattle, Baker Mayfield last year in Tampa Bay. That's why he's in Carolina, I think. And his receivers, his offensive coordinator, is known for working with receivers. Had great success with Seattle's receivers. So I think they're putting the pieces in place. Like y'all know, I like to rag on David Tepper, thinking he's a crappy owner. And I don't know, he's a crappy owner. He's a meddling owner, right? And probably I would want to be too, right? Yes, I think this is true. You can acknowledge he's progressing and very well above average for a quarterback for years to come, while also knowing it's 100% agree with that. And I think that's the thing. That was the trade-off. Is we face the prospect of having to do Caleb Williams a fifth-year option, and then we're going to have to re-sign him to big money. Will he prove himself in that year? So we'll see. So getting back to Dallas, I mean, that brings up an interesting point about the Cowboys, who seem to be like they're all in. Well, they're all in on paying Dak Prescott. They reduced his salary by what, $4 million? He's still like $5 million or whatever the hell it is, that's restricting them. And it sounds like I know Rich Eisen talked about this a couple of weeks ago. That Jerry Jones is putting this all on Dak. Look, you're either going to get us somewhere, or you're going to have a chance to hit the open market. And they're kind of pulling the band-aid off this year on that. So that's been a limiting factor for them in free agency for sure. Uh, Interesting. I know Cowboys fans are ecstatic about this. Ecstatic. Ecstatic. Go watch Michael Fabiano's ranting videos. Go get him, Fabs. Loves the Cowboys. I'm not cringing. I'm not cringing. Thielen's analytics were way down in 22. He had a lot of targets yards, which is not the yeah. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think Kwesi's doing a pretty good job. I know I live in a house with a Vikings fan. I know there are Vikings fans in the chat, in addition to you, John, who love to see this all come to fruition. I was gonna depend on the quarterback. I thought I wanted Kirk Cousins back there for selfish reasons, and that what's best for Justin Jefferson, right? And I get why if I was a Vikings fan, I would be okay with Kirk moving on. I mean, postseason success is not his bag at all. Gotta get there. We'll see what they do at quarterback. Sam Darnold redemption season. On. Oh my god. I'm still in on Deonta Foreman and Khalil Herbert as top Dallas options. So see what they do in the draft. I think Foreman. It looks to me like Cleveland's in on him enough just to give them some insurance. With Nick Chubb, who knows when Nick Chubb's coming back, right? Like last night, they had two separate surgeries, right? He had one, I want to say, right after the injury, then one again in November. I think both times they've talked about this as like he'll be back in 2024. They are not giving a definitive timetable because I don't think they have one. So I think Deonta Foreman is going to be stuck there. And Khalil Herbert, I think is a possibility though. Now that they're paying DeAndre Swift, it makes perfect sense. So that's kind of where I'm at on there. Is Caleb a runner? Like you guys, I don't think he's a passer, right? I mean, I think he's plenty athletic and everything, but he's a passer. He's there to throw the ball. Oh, interesting question from Steve. Why did the Bears get so little for Justin Fields? Um, it's Here's why. The NFL views Justin Fields differently than we do. That's all there is to it. And also, they knew the Bears were in a spot, right? I think the Bears would have been wise to wait, or might have been wise to wait, but also, and I don't know, or do we believe we just wanted to do right by Justin? Okay, I mean, he's statistically like, but how much of that is him, Frankie? I mean, I think that's the question people have. People aren't sure, like that he got a fair, and honestly, it doesn't matter. And he didn't progress as a passer. He had some games. He had some success to me with DJ Moore. He showed promise, but is that enough to pay him that fifth-year option and then commit to him with a long-term deal? I don't think so. I don't think it is. That's why they moved on. I don't know, why they got so little for him is probably because everyone knew they were moving on and we're gonna wait it out. Hey, Mel. Nice to see you. By the way, if you're just tuning in, I'm Bob Harris. I'm a football guys. This is the Football Diehards YouTube channel, but I do these every Saturday. Ask me anything. We have all the questions. I do a Wednesday on the hot seat. Appreciate everyone showing up for those. And I'll have one of those this week. And I'll start doing more on the football guys. Started to see that last week on Friday. I did a little news update. We'll start doing those every week this time of year. Then maybe bump them up to daily if everything goes well. Just short little, looks at the news. You'll catch me later today on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, the Football Diehards program. Mike Dempsey and myself. Uh, and we'll be covering the Jets and the Vikings for you, John Bonneville. Arif Hassan covering the Vikings for us. Andy Vasquez, NJ.com, I believe, covering the Jets. And we'll have some discussions about what their plans are, what they're doing. Mike Williams, all kinds of good stuff going on there. And then we'll have Drew Davenport, my football guys colleague, Maybe a little talk about Dak. He did thread. He's also, a legal mind. Drew Dak. Dak has some off-field stuff going on. I don't think it's going to be a big factor, but it's interesting, worth noting. But also, Drew, super good auction player, and we'll talk about some of the free agent moves with him. Go to footballguys.com, sign up for the free email update. You'll get that every day. News in your inbox every single day, all year round. Check it out. If you don't like it, check out the rookie draft guide. Christian Williams, Kevin Coleman, Jeff Bell did fantastic. And also, we're almost up to RSP Day. Matt Wallman's rookie scouting portfolio will be out first, I believe, is the day it comes out. And you can catch me and Matt every Monday morning doing our Feel It or F It podcast. Kind of just a quick look at things. Look at Vikings fans coming out of nowhere. Hello, Michael. How are you? Which side do I take? Oh, I missed a good question here. Sorry, Bob. I apologize. All the greetings going on. This is a fair point. I'll get back to this question, Bob. I'm sorry. Oh, when you look at the NFL, you have to limit the teams that already have a franchise quarterback or just draft, right? That's the thing. And so, like everybody needs a quarterback. And the Falcons had a need and seemed like a decent fit, but as soon as they felt like they had Kirk Cousins, it sounded like that was an Arthur Blank push because Arthur Blank's old and he needs immediate success. Right? So I think that makes perfect sense. And that is a correct assessment. Bob Dickens has the question: does Davis signing make Zay Jones worthless in baseball? Maybe. I think like Davis is healthy, Zay Jones. It seems like, right? And I know they still need to make a move at wide receiver. There are not a lot on the open market. Do they get trade T. Higgins? Demanding one. I don't know if he gets one, but obviously we draw the connection to his college quarterback from Clemson. I wrote about this last week in the fantasy notebook and cited an interview that our buddy Lawrence Jackson Jr. from NBC Sports did with T. Higgins, who mentioned quarterbacks he would play with or he would like to play with. And I think I've seen a lot of reporting on that since. And I mean, the big takeaway from that is he would love to play with Joe Burrow. The Bengals aren't talking long term contracts, and so he demanded a trade. They're going to trade him, but if they did, Trevor Lawrence is one of the quarterbacks on his list. Lamar Jackson, Stroud. So but I do think that the Davis signing, Gabe Davis, they seem to kind of ride in the same lane. By the way, Gabe Davis, great downfield blocker, good news for Travis Etienne, but they still pull at that wide. Not going to be, not going to be Gabe Davis. Just like it's interesting because Curtis Samuel goes to Buffalo. Like a lot of people say, on Curtis Samuel can be that wide receiver too. No, but he's going to be busy man, I think. But like Mac Hollins is the Gabe Davis replacement, right? Like, I know it's not like a sexy pick. I think they'll draft somebody is more like the more likely outcome there. But that's and don't shy away from Curtis Samuel. Man. Every year, just keeps getting. The last time we saw him with Joe Brady, he had 1,000 yards of scrimmage in Carolina. So something worth noting there. And he'll be a wide receiver 3, more of a problem for Khalil Shakir and kind of the range of players. So I'm not part of the magazine anymore, so I don't know. It'll usually comes out in July, so watch for the pro forecast. So, and if the work on it is ongoing, I'm just not part of it, but will be available. Look at you Lions fans. Look at Mike Kubiak and Robert Ferrin and go at it. NFC North all over the place. How do I do getting Ramon Ross St. Brown and 111 for Addison Mims? Like, that's a win. I mean, I think that's a win. I think getting Amon Ross St. Brown is a win. Getting the 111 on top of it. Like, Addison's always going to be capped to some degree. I mean, not like limited, but like by Justin Jefferson in the quarterback situation. There's no certainty there. Mims, maybe he's going to be a thing. Apparently, a little quarterback uncertainty in Denver. I know Cecil Lammy thinks that if JJ McCarthy's there, that's who the Broncos will draft. But definitely, is it going to be Jared Stidham? I don't know. But Mims, and I think I would have done that game. 10 of 10, I would smash it. I just got an offer. Someone offered me today in the Football Diehards Dynasty League a Jahmyr Gibbs deal. And I'm loaded at running back. I have needs a wide receiver. It means giving up the 107, 207. I'm probably not going to do it. But damn it. Come at me me with Jahmyr Gibbs. Come on now. That's almost like cheating. Oh, easy, everybody. The Packers fans, the Vikings fans, God, everybody's in here. Hey, Kevin. Thanks for coming. With Flacco now in Indy, do you have great expectations for Anthony Richardson? I do. I have super high expectations for Anthony Richardson. That doesn't mean he'll meet up to them, but I think he's a fair gamble, right? I I think taking a chance on a player like that, you're kind of buying a lottery ticket. And so I'm gonna overpay for Anthony Richardson, in the leagues where I'm not playing with Royal Slade, who is linked to overdraft play. I'm gonna get him. I got him in one league so far. You're gonna see him going in the 5th round range, quarterback 6 range, and see him go a little bit ahead of CJ Stroud. It's a speculative play, Frankie. And if you believe in his talent, people that I talk to, Matt Waldman, first and foremost, will tell you he's a better passer than he's given credit for. The Colts believe that as well. They've gone on record saying it. We don't have enough information to know that at 100%, that's going to translate to the NFL field. But the athletic ability, I'm not going to get on the soapbox because I've done it 1,000 times already. But the Colts need to do something similar to what the Miami Dolphins did for Tua last year to Tagovailoa. Get him some coaching on how to avoid injury, how to take hits. Like fighters are a good way to start. Fighters take a lot of punishment. Know how to absorb blows, duck blows, move. Get their bodies. You should be learning those things. Tua learned some jujitsu skills and judo skills, how to fall. So he didn't bang his head on the floor. Maybe Anthony Richardson can benefit from that. Whatever it is, he's a lottery ticket to me. And especially in some one quarterback leagues where I can get guys in double digit rounds. Like Kirk Cousins is probably going to rise up maybe inside double digit rounds, but he's been going there. But I mean, there's a whole guys that I can have here off Matthew Stafford, guys that I can live with my second quarterback a who have reasonable outcomes, right? Like maybe even high end outcomes that I can take a chance on Anthony Richardson. But believe this: the Colts believe he's a passer. They believe his passing skills translate the way Matt Waldman does. The way Waldman explains it is he's just got to learn the language of the offense. He's got to have an understanding of the scheme, and he can get things done. And I know the numbers didn't bear that out from his college career, but the scouting and the tape for Matt Waldman, who just somebody I trust in their analysis, uh, is is probably had the athletic ability or enough. All we did last year was talk about Curtis Samuel's last pick being a value. We will talk about that again this year. Yeah, and it's okay, Mel. No worries. I just want to let you know I don't want to pretend that I'm a big person. I'm not this year. Hey, Mark, you see the NFL going to 18 games this season in the near future? I don't know if it'll be the near future, but probably coming. Like money talks. Agreed with John Bonneville, 100% elite tier. Being drafted this too, Mr. Scamper's good point. Joe Brady was his offensive coordinator during a successful year, but Brandon Bean, the GM of the Bills, also drafted Curtis Samuel in Carolina. I think you are correct, sir. Plenty of wide receivers in this year's draft for you to get, Bob. 24 deep of guys I can think of making immediate. I agree with that. This has not been asked, and I think it's a fair question. I'll just look at the comment from Brian Dable about Saquon Barkley, who they lost, and he's saying, "I've got tremendous amount of respect for Saquon and all the players that were other places. We wish him all the best, except when he's playing the." Um, so yes, I mean, target talent with uncertainty. I think that's to me that's a winning move, right? Justin Jefferson would like you to know he was super successful with quarterbacks not named Kirk Cousins when he played with him last year. Nick Mullins, Josh Dobbs, whoever it was, Jaron Hall. I think that's totally true. But I think if you're playing a long-term dynasty and say you were making a choice between Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, where the quarterback is likely to be locked in for the next 5 years for him. I think that maybe becomes a bit of a conversation. But beyond that, yes, I would be looking. I'm always looking to leverage value like that. And you should be as well. So that's a good comment there. T-Bone has Allen Richardson and Love in a single quarterback league. Who should I trade as I go for it this year? In case of injury? You should keep two of them, and you should move the one that's the most popular. Depending on what you want. I think Richardson would be a name that people would be interested in. Obviously, Allen's top quarterback in every format, so I don't know that I'll be moving on from him. But I could get by with Allen and Love as my quarterback to move Richardson, who's, if you're in a league with me, I would pay the world. And I don't know. I just like to hear from Frankie, kind of your thoughts on Richardson as well, just to see where you're at on him. 'Cause I am all in on him, and I readily admit I'm a bit all in, maybe too all in, because it is a limited, but just that athleticism and some of the things that you see with him, strike me as great, but it's a speculative play. So I would probably move him. Allen and Love are both, you know, on solid trajectories, right? Allen's trajectory is flattened out a little bit because he's at the very top, no higher to go. And I don't think that's changed. Hello, Aaron Jones. Congratulations on your new contract, sir. If the NFL bans the hip drop tackle, consider the sport a dead man walking. What a joke. This is not what football is about. It's just we are hearing it. All the money is the players they want on the field. Shizzle. There's going to be injuries. This is true. Um, like I haven't given like I haven't put a lot of thought into this. I haven't put a lot of thought into this. I see John Bonneville has a comment on it. Um, it's when guys put their entire body weight on a runner's ankles, it's unnecessary. Like I think it's like we're asking a lot of players in the moment. Make a play, don't let a guy score, but do it just so. Like things are moving really quickly on the football field, and decisions are being made in a split second. I don't disagree that there's choices players can make that probably would eliminate possible injuries, but there are also plays where man, I don't know, man, they're bang bang plays that is, their penalties are called and fines are assessed, and some of the fines that were set to his running backs last year, I thought were ridiculous. He lowered his head. Well, man, he's playing with football. I don't know. Is he not protected? I don't know. I'm torn on this. I'm like not all the way in. I'm not angry about it, but I mean, it's a conundrum. Conundrum. Thank you. And we entirely want that. But again, we want it to be football. I mean, Aaron Jones has a good point. It is football. It is a contact sport. It's and maybe that's where we can find some agreement. Is like it's contact sports. Does it have to be the collision sport? And I think some of the collisions, right? If you this is it. If you let them score, you could lose your job. People get fired. Right? Like don't just get fired because somebody scores. I mean, this is a tough point for the NFL to me, and I know they've had great success, limiting the injuries. Concussions were way down last year. I know we thought there was tons of injuries last year because we think that every year, and there are a lot of injuries, but injury totals were down, ACLs were down, concussions were down. A lot of that maybe had to do with the Guardian helmets being worn in the preseason. There were less soft tissue injuries too. I will we're lost to that. If you'd like me to pull up that information, I will. Let's see. 700 fewer missed player games in 2023 than in 2022. And the primary driver of the decrease was the league hitting a 4-year low in the number of extremity strains, 29% decrease in strains during training camp, with fewer initial strains, a 50% decline in recurrent lower extremity strain. So, I mean, they're doing a good job. Hi, Rookie 5. Appreciate you coming. Well, jump back in. We're here, man. I'm here every Saturday at this time. I'm here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. I'm going to be on the Football Guys YouTube channel as well. Check that channel out. Subscribe to it. Alfredo Brown Daily show every day. Great show. The Audible. Many of you are probably longtime viewers of that. With Steve Lemmy and Sigmund Bloom. On the Couch with Bloom is fantastic. I believe I had Matt Williamson on this week. A rookie, the guys doing the dynasty stuff. Jeff Bell, Kevin Coleman, Christian Williams do a fantastic job. Tons of great reactions and stuff there. So subscribe to that channel as well and catch me. I'll be doing more and more there. Check my weekly fantasy notebook there every Monday. It actually goes up Sunday night. Have a ton of instant reaction articles on the player moves. Ryan Weiss doing a good job working with me on those. Brown, chiming in on Saquon Barkley well. Great, some other great content too. Leo Cassiga, uh, putting up some new staffer there, putting up some good articles, mock drafts. Gary Davenport's, IDP winners and losers and free agency. Tons of great stuff there. I highly, of course I do. T-Bone, Richardson, in on Richardson too, thanks to Waldman. Yeah, Waldman really frames it nicely. Matt will be on this live stream on, will be on the hot seat, very soon. Gotta finish it out before, but if you listen to our Feel It or F It podcast every Monday, you'll get an idea of where he's at on a lot of these players already. Who are your day one quarterbacks to be drafted? I think the list is pretty obvious. Caleb Williams, Jim Daniels, Drake May seem to be the top three guys moving up, depending on who you believe. JJ McCarthy. I believe the people who I I trusted who were connected. I think a lot of teams are in. There's going to be smoke blown various ways. Bo Nix moving up. Michael Penix seems to be a kind of divisive figure. It clearly has the throwing ability. I think all those guys are fair game. Probably more. And not totally see yet Brian and all that, but I think those are the guys. Uh, uh, is Puka above Cup in consensus rankings? He is for sure. Puka's going well in stuff. I haven't seen Puka escape. Well, I think I have. I haven't seen him go past pick 13, and I want to say, for sure past pick 14. But it's been almost exclusively first round. And Cup has been a pretty good value. Let me just pull up the ADP here on best ball 10s and underdog. I was looking at this. Cup is going as wide receiver 13, right around early third round, and that's in best ball 10s. Let me see where he's going. I thought he's moving up then because he'd been going later than that. Best ball 10. Let me get to underdog here. Puka Nakua, wide receiver 6 and underdog. Cooper Cup. Wow, maybe he is over here. There he is. There he is. I saw him. There he is. Wide receiver 26 there. So going way later, going is his ADP is 40. So going in the fourth round. That's where I've seen him more. And I've been getting some of that. It's good value. But I don't want to overdo it. I was bitten by that bug. Competition committee must demonstrate speed and full pads how they wish players should tackle. A fair point made by Marshawn. That age injury concern. I believe that is age and injury concerns built in. Oh, I'm sorry. I should put that up. I believe that's age and injury concerns built in, uh, and Puka Nakua's rise, right? Like I think people are convinced Puka Nakua is what he was last year. I don't think that's true. Uh, this is Jason Kelsey's retirement at Barkley signing will result in less push plays at the goal line. Maybe, like I feel like every year, if you're going in and you're counting on Jalen Hurts or your quarterback to run for 15 touchdowns, you're probably taking your chances. But it's within the range of possible outcomes that he does it again. But also within that is even without even assuming and Saquon was at that, the possibility that he would get 5 fewer touchdowns is not unreasonable. So, I do think, is it possible Barkley is a better scorer from between the 10 and 5 or in that range and gets them more scores at that point than they were getting before, then that's maybe a as well. But yeah, I don't know that the push goes. I mean, a lot of that is, Jalen Hurts has squats as much as Saquon Barkley score as much as him. I kinda believe that too. This is Bonneville correct on this one. I don't think it's going away. And, that's something that, probably is gonna be a factor as people make their decisions on Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. Like, both of them, could they be limiting factors for each other? Sure. Entirely possible. What else has gone on this last week that I found very Marquise Brown going to Kansas City Chiefs. Is this the move we've all been waiting for? Does this unlock the offense? Is this the missing link here, that frees up Travis Kelce and Ricky Rice and Patrick Mahomes, gets this offense back in, better chance of doing that than Marquez Valdez-Scantling, need to see him be healthy, though. Oh, man, I saw some highlights from the NCAA wrestling on my, one of my things. I did. Oh, I saw that. Good lord, horrifying. They didn't do that when I you can bring that up. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah, I think I saw that, on my Instagram as well. But yes, the wrestling is great. There's a lot of stuff going on. I think there's basketball going on. How's everyone's brackets holding up? I'm doing pretty good. I'm on the football guy staff. I'm in 4th place. I do a bunch of people. But I don't think so. I don't disagree with this, but what do you have to be a needle mover? I said it in my football guy video yesterday. I was drafting Jerry Stoney as a wide receiver 5, maybe 6, but sometimes 5 last year based on nothing more than hoping for Mahomes. If Brown is available to me as a wide receiver 4, late wide receiver 3, 10 of 10. 10 of 10 for a smash. 513 rookie laughing at the Russell Wilson signing. I'm not laughing at it. Like, I think, given the right circumstances, maybe Russell Wilson could do better than what we saw in Denver. I don't know that he was the real problem in Denver, or just the fact that he wasn't the desired piece in Denver. For one, Sean Payton was the problem. We can take that all the way back to the game where Payton just unloaded on him on the side. That told you I saw that. I was watching that. We were on the air on the Football Die Hard show. I said, "I need to know more about this. That this isn't just based on something that happened in this game. This is a this is a bigger thing. This is a bigger thing." That was when you knew that there was not gonna be a Russell Wilson around no matter how much it cost. But this is the point. Uh, $1.2 million, and I don't know if you needed a quarterback, how you get a better deal than that. Just based on experience alone. Experience matters to that position. Russell Wilson has a ton of experience. D I think this is probably good too. Wildcats are playing right now. That is my pick to win it all. Thank you, Michael Kubiak. What's the score? Bear the F down is how we say that. 8 wrong in football, guys. Well, I'm in that as well, Andrea. I think I'm in 4th place. Yeah, I would draft Marquise Brown. I might even take him as a 3 depending on how I start my draft. I'm going maybe a little running back heavy, or I pick one of the tight ends, earlier on, and Kelsey, I wouldn't go Brown, but if it was Florida, I probably would. Final 4 is still alive. My Final 4 is also still alive. Arizona, I'm banking on because I've watched confession time. I've watched a grand total of about 20 minutes of college basketball this year. All 20 of them were the University of Arizona. That's the team I have even the slightest interest in as my home team. Great. I got the big. I wore that last show. I had my Arizona thing on. 10 around from good game, good game, good game. I hate you. Good game. It's like a basketball thing, isn't it? High fives. All right, Robert. That works. That works. So yeah, the Marquise Brown, I'm pretty keen on. What else? The Joe Mixon thing is kind of interesting to me. They're giving him like extension. The Bengals moved on from Joe Mixon because they felt like they lacked explosive plays. His explosive runs were way down. Uh, Zare Katsmedian, uh, did a study on this, and among all the top fantasy running backs, he was the worst of since 2020. And that was a big issue for the Bengals. Now they moved him to Houston, where maybe they think that's not such a big issue. Well, you know why it wouldn't be such a big issue? Because volume. He's gonna be a volume play. I think Mixon's in a good spot. He's, like, going to running back 18 right now. Mm, that's gonna be hard to pass up in that offense. I saw this guy. I saw this floating around my Twitterverse. I think so too. I totally agree with you. I think Mixon's in a good spot. Plus, I mean, I think, the volume is what's gonna be key there. They don't need a ton of explosive plays, and, like, it's not capable like, he's incapable of breaking off a long run. It's just the rate is way low, and that uh, intrigued me. Think, Derrick Henry breakaway rate, he was in the top 6 in breakaway. Everyone thinks he's slowing down. I don't think he's slowing down. He had the 7th fastest run in the league last year, like a 22 mile an hour, 21 and a half mile an hour run. Right up there with guys like Tyreek Hill and such like. So it's good. And I do think Joe Mixon, like, right now going around running back 18, lower end running back 2, I think there's gonna be some I don't know what to make of Devin Singletary. Like, I've been Devin Singletary skeptic since his days in Buffalo. I just wasn't sure what he was. I thought it was a great I thought he was, uh, down the 10-week stretch to end the season, he was off the charts good, right? So, like, I don't know what to make of him. I don't know what to make of the New York Giants. They're gonna have a hard road to hoe this year. Need so many things. I am very happy they re-signed Isaiah Hodgins this week. I know some of you out there are Isaiah Hodgins stands like myself. Go Isaiah. All right, couple minutes here. If you have any final questions, let's get him in. Traded him for Hayden O'Connell last year. Singletary straight up in this. What do we think the Raiders are done at quarterback? Is Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell the answer, or are they going to move up a little bit? I mean, they're right in that little sweet spot with Vikings and the Broncos, that little team tier where they could all use a quarterback. Is that the direction they go? Do they trade down? Do they trade up? I heard some rumors that they were looking to trade up, so I'm not sure which direction that goes. Hey, Michael, what's the score in that U of A game? I would not be shocked if the Raiders took Penix. I've heard that as well. Don't be shocked if Denver gets a chance to take McCarthy. Don't be shocked if the Vikings get a chance to take JJ McCarthy. I've also heard Bo Nix mentioned there. McCarthy kind of fits that McVay style offense. Look, I think the Vikings are set up, you know, they have some pieces in place. They need a quarterback. Are we looking at a possible Sam Darnold, a Baker Mayfield-esque, Smith like a Phoenix Rising kind of move here? All right, I'm gonna call it a day here. I need a quarterback draft a Raider. I need to draft quarterback Raiders. This new rookie interesting today for your fantasy draft. You usually with the teams. So I will do a draft here in a couple weeks, where we draft before the NFL draft. It's not my favorite thing to do. It'll be based on the needs of my team. I think it's a 2 quarterbacks super flex league. I have Josh Allen, so that's the starting point, but I probably will want to draft one of the first round quarterbacks in that one. Wide receivers. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going in drafts right now and just regular best ball drafts where people are drafting and having a good time and putting money on the line. Marvin Harrison's not making it out of the second round. So there's that. So yeah, people are investing rookies. Rookie running backs fair to invest in. I would prefer to know where they are. I would prefer them to have a helmet on before I have to pick. But if you're picking before then, you're picking talent. The talent is going to be a wide receiver and quarterback. Thank you for your question, Michael Kubiak. Very kind of you to be in the chat. It's nice seeing you last. All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate y'all coming. It was a good time. We didn't get to write an article, but we're going to do that. Thank you. Next time that comes up, like it did 2 weeks ago, we're writing that damn article right here. All of us. We're sitting down. We're taking out our pencils. We're taking out our pads. We're scratching out some notes, sorting out the values, and figuring stuff out. Appreciate everyone coming. It's been a great show because of you, less so because of me. Great questions, great conversation. Love talking to you too as well, John, and all of you. We'll see you all here Wednesday for On the Hot Seat if you want to stick around Oh, there we go. I think the Raiders might draft a quarterback, but Minshew's always entertaining. Radio show 3 to 5 p.m. Mike, myself, Andy Vasquez covering the Jets. Um, let's see, Arif Hassan covering the Vikings. We're kind of doing the draft teams in order. So we've been going through all of them. And then we'll have Drew Davenport from Football Guys on later in the show. I don't know who's on the hot seat yet, but damn it, we will post it up Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eric Romoff in the house. Thank you so much for Eric for coming and setting everything up and doing all the behind the scenes work that makes this a successful endeavor. Appreciate you so much. All right, everybody. That's it for today. Catch me at Football Guys on my Fantasy Notebook article. Will be coming out late tomorrow afternoon. You'll get it in your email overnight. Check it out Monday if you don't get online. Go check out my new video there on the Football Guys YouTube channel. Kind of a weekly news update, roundup, top 5 stories is what we're looking at right now. Probably pick up a case on that as well. Until then, we'll see you. Bob Harris signing off.